At Trinity Health System, we have a profound respect and awe for all creation. We are motivated by the words of Christ to be his hands and heart to those in need. Our doctors, nurses, and staff are driven by selfless performance, combining our expertise with the technology to bridge the gap to healthier communities. Healthcare isn't just about healing, it's about human dignity. Trinity Health System, inspired by faith, serving you with distinction.
This is the show where we talk nothing but buccos. And when you said that, that was the first thing you ever said on this set.
3, 2, 1.
Live from Studio 3, and then heavily edited for content, it's Bucco Banter. Introducing your hosts, originally from somewhere near Newcastle and now being a good husband and father when he's not running off by himself to PNC Park, it's Fred Rossano. A Pittsburgh Pirates fan since before he was born and still residing in his parents' basement when he's not sleeping in the Pirates clubhouse, it's Matthew Peasley. Finally, he may look like a piece of plastic on a stick, but he has a life of his own and he's the real expert on Bucco Banter. It's Pirate Panda!
Hello and welcome back to Bucco Banter. My name is Matthew Peasley, and I am joined by who?
Fred Rossano.
Who? Is that you?
Fred Rossano.
Fred Rossano. This is another spring training edition of Bucco Banter where the Pirates are looking pretty good.
Yes.
They got the most wins of National League teams, and yeah, it seems like every time we go to check on them, they win.
Their pitching has really done well so far, and obviously the games don't mean anything, but they do mean something to a lot of the players there, and especially with a lot of the players playing in the World Baseball Classic, which gives a lot of the guys, younger guys like Austin Meadows and Jose Osuna, who no one had heard of. I think, was rated their 30th prospect out of 30 that they list.
A lot of hitting home runs, and they said he could be a good corner infielder or outfielder.
He plays some outfield and mostly at first base, so obviously he must not be that great of a fielder, but at the same time, I was reading somewhere today that they had said they were impressed by him. They added him to the 40-man roster late last year because they were impressed by what he had done in the second half of the season, and he seems to have carried on.
Yeah, that's
spring training.
That's what spring training is all about, is getting these guys good looks. I mean, he's probably not going to start on the Major League roster, but he was in Double-A last year. Maybe he'll start the year in Triple-A. And
getting to that time where something has to happen with him. He's 24, 25 years old, but those are always interesting things that happen in spring training. As far, I think it was several years ago when I think it was Brian Harper. I don't know if you remember him. He had like 7 or 8 home runs, and everybody was talking about him, and then he had an okay career or whatever. And there was somebody else, Matt Haig. You remember him?
Oh yeah,
I think he's with the Twins now.
Yeah,
they called him the Hitman.
We were expecting him to be the first baseman of the future, and
he never was.
Yeah. I've seen Jordy Mercer show some power this spring, hitting the ball pretty well, which we need to see from that infield spot. Josh Bell's playing a little bit off that knee surgery he recently had. Francisco Cervelli got banged up a little bit, but like some other guys, he's in the World Baseball Classic. We have Cervelli with Italy. We have Gregory Polanco and Starling Marte, and even Ivan Nova with the Dominican, and Andrew McCutchen in the outfield, and Josh Harrison, a late addition to the American team. So those guys are getting in some real games that mean something. And
I think
before
that's
the
World
season.
Baseball Classic seems to be taking on more of an importance than it did the first couple times.
I think it's fun. I like to see that. These games they're playing in Marlins Park, there's more people at
watching those.
The World Baseball Classic than there are for Marlins games. So yeah, get some real game experience before the season. That's fine. There's a pitcher for the Pirates, Jared Lakin. Did you hear about him?
Yeah, I read something about him.
He's pitching for Israel. So yeah,
there has to be a connection there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I forget what was the. There was something bizarre involved.
Him?
Yeah, there was a story on him I read the other day. I can't remember what it's.
Yeah, but
something unique happened.
Yeah, but a lot of these, a lot of these players, just because they have a family history and lineage, they're playing. Freddie Freeman's playing for Canada because his mom is from Canada. Same with a lot of the Italian teams. If you read the Herald-Star and the Weird Daily Times this week, there was an Associated Press article about the Italian team where all of them are English speaking. I mean, including Cervelli, who speaks Spanish and Italian pretty well too.
Venezuelan and Italian.
Yeah, so it's fun, but we're still a little bit of ways from opening day. The biggest question I think surrounding the Pirates now is their back end of the starting rotation. We've talked about this a lot. You have Garrett Cole, Ivan Nova.
Or is it Yvonne? I think we discussed that.
Yvonne, yeah. Yvonne Nova, Jameson Tyon.
And then a cast of
4 and 5
probably
starters. Yeah.
Chad Kuhl
Yeah.
is next. And I think we talked about this a lot last year. I think this year they're really anticipating having some of these guys go into the flow of because they do have a lot of quality guys down in the minors.
Yeah.
There. We mentioned like Stephen Brault, Nick Kingham, who's coming off arm surgery, of course Glasnow, another guy who's coming off of Tommy John surgery. I think Clay Holmes is his name, and then Drew Hutchinson, and we mentioned Chad Kuhl, Trevor Williams,
Yeah.
and another guy named Mitch Keller, who they're very high on.
I think he was the prospect pitcher of the year for the Pirates minor league system. So,
and when they had those rumors about Jose Quintana, I guess that was the guy that they were more after almost than Glasnow because they're really high on him. I think he's even ranked among the top 100 prospects in baseball. But it's these guys say it's a friendly rivalry, and I'm sure it is. But you got how many guys we've mentioned there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 guys fighting for
2 spots.
Basically.
Only thing I think it's good that there's that competition, and these guys have a lot of potential, but none of them are proven starters by any means at a major league level.
No.
That's just worries me a little bit that because that was our big question last year.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at before. They were trying to sort of bridge the gap to this year, and then they wound up trading Liriano, and he had a pretty dreadful first half, and then beyond that, they were just some of those guys panned out. Tyon obviously did. We thought maybe Glasnow would, and a couple of the other ones had injuries, but.
We'll probably see, and then we'll probably see of those 8 guys you mentioned. We'll probably see
sometime during the year.
They might, like you said, probably Chad Kuhl at number 4, but that 5th spot they might rotate guys whenever they can, whether they start in the bullpen or start in the minors. I'm sure it still could be up in the air even like when the season starts. But pitching will get the Pirates where they need to be.
Pitching, never have enough pitching, but they I think if you look at it, I know people complain about the lack of home run power, which is going to be an important thing. But as long as you have pitching, you can work around that somehow. I mean, even if you trade a couple of these guys, which I know they don't want to do, because you never know when one of those guys is really going to hit. And some of those guys may not. You might keep somebody that may not pan out, and then give somebody up that will be a stud pitcher down the road. But you never know as far as that. But it's always good to have, like we said, at least 8 guys fighting for 2 spots that could come up this year, or possibly next year, or somewhere along the way.
So something that else has come up, what I've heard, that we have a relic of sorts.
Yes.
What can you explain?
Well, we talked about the water, Greg Brown's water from last year.
Did we label it? No.
I don't know. I have to ask some of the cast and crew here, not the cast because we're the cast.
Yeah.
Probably some members of the crew who obviously don't care, but
That's true.
it's pretty important when you have stars like Steve Blass and Greg Brown come on the show.
Yeah, that
and
happened
discuss.
right here. But
Today
I
we
see
have
some other people are involved in history.
Marker right here
Yeah.
was given to my son Jonathan at Pirates
Right.
Fest. Even with the bent end of it, which we haven't used this marker since, because we were using I think I had a silver Sharpie that I was using, and it wasn't showing up on the calendars, so we were getting autographs.
Right.
So Clint Hurdle, being Clint Hurdle, good all around guy that he is, he
Yeah.
said, "Hey buddy, why don't you use a black marker because it'll show up better?" And we went, "Ooh, that would probably be a good
was it
idea."
that marker?
It was this marker, which also was probably used by Josh Bell, Stephen Brault, Tony Watson. We're all sitting in that same chair using this all day long, along with Lisa Verto Bonilla, who's no longer with the Pirates. Now he's with the Reds, I believe. But
Maybe I still
Look
think
at that.
I still think the power of the marker will carry to Bonilla with the Reds and will make Tony Watson, Josh Bell, and Steve Brault have a good season because of this. Right
it's
there.
true. And look, you can even see like where the barcode is. It's like worn off from the sweat of their hands and signing autographs all day long. Very, very interesting, don't you think?
I do. And for more interesting features, stay tuned to Bucco Banter all season long.
We're at Bucco Banter.
We banter.
You decide. That was one take. Wow.
That was awful. It was only one take.
You want to do it again?
Yes.
No, we're not doing it again.
So that'll be good.